Hello class, it looks like we survived the first section, took your first test. I want to explain the reason I give you the answers to some of these questions, and I'll give you many more along the way, is because they're important. It's important that you know what the Belmont report was. It's not the most and single important thing, but if you understand what I'm expecting and what I'm asking, that's important. And I believe that you'll remember, for example, the Belmont report. And for this section, this is the hard copy of some of the questions I could ask you. And what do I think is important? How about the steps in the research process? Wouldn't that make sense as one of the most important things in this class? Question I'm going to ask you, which of the following represents the first step in the research process? You have to start somewhere. The answer is identify the problem area. Again, the reason I'm giving you this answer is because it's important, and I believe you'll remember it this way. What is the first step in the research process? Identify the problem area. Now this next section is all about the research process. To understand research and evaluation of programs and all that, you have to understand the process. What you go through to get research done, or what someone else has gone through to get something done. You identify a problem area, and you're not redoing what someone else has done necessarily. You might be confirming that it works in another population, but you have to understand the topic, the area that you're researching. If a dentist does a neurological research project, I don't believe it's going to be as meaningful as a neurologist doing a neurology study. Now in this process, I also believe that the individuals being researched have their own expertise, so that you as a student know more about the student experience today than me as the instructor. That would be your area of expertise. During this process, listening to, as a good researcher, I will listen to you, and I will listen to the subjects that I'm researching, because they own a special knowledge that I don't have. To give an example, when I was with the United Way and we were evaluating programs to fund, I went to Scottsdale to a organization that wanted to expand their clothing closet. And where I was at that time, I thought that was a ridiculous idea. I thought homeless people need food and shelter. They had an individual stand up in front of the group and explain that she used to be a secretary, then her parents got sick, she spent everything she had on their hospital bills, on their medical bills. She ended up on the street. She came to this organization. They helped her get clean clothes, helped her write her resume, helped her apply for jobs, and she got the job. Now if she went in dirty clothes, torn Levi's, unbathed, she's not going to get a job. And that's a very simple concept. But me as an MSW, I didn't even have that concept in my head. I mean, maybe you're not that stupid, but there are things that we don't know. So we pay attention in this process to not only knowing the topic, knowing the subjects, and how to make your study valid and reliable. Over the course of this next semester, we're going to learn to understand research. Not necessarily that you're going to be a researcher. There's another half dozen classes you can take, a lot of funding sources. Not all of them require that much education, but it won't hurt. Now, at the end of this course, you'll be given an article, and then you're going to tell me what's wrong with this article. Is the researcher paying attention to what's going on? Does what he's doing make sense? Does this study Is it random? Is it a random selection of participants? Is it an accidental study? Sometimes when you're doing research, you have to deal with what you've got. But the best research is done with deliberate care and maximizing all the features that make research solid, sound, reliable, something you can depend on. Now, during this course you'll realize that we don't say research has found. We rarely find that kind of statement. We'll find this research indicates. And if you say research has found, what research are you talking about? You need to say Smith and Jones, 1998, in a population of Native Americans on the Tohono O'odham Reservation. During this time frame, there's a lot of qualifications that go with it, and you'll learn about some of these restrictions. The time that it takes place, if there was a drop in the economy, that's going to change things. All kinds of external things are going to affect research. So you need to look at the time it was written, what was going on then, who it was conducted with, how valid were the instruments they used. There's a whole lot of things to look at, but you don't need to know it all. You just need to know some of it. You need to know that this was done with this population at this time. Don't be scared by all the external things that could happen, because no one can be aware of it all. One researcher that I'd quoted quite frequently did a study with individuals with developmental disabilities in Italy and found that individuals with more socialized skills were in more socialized settings. But what they didn't say is they're probably in those settings because they had the social skills. So even the most respected research can have flaws, and you're not going to be able to know them all. We just want to point out some of the big ones, and we'll work through this together. Don't let this class threaten you. Come talk to me. You'll get through it, you'll pass it, and you'll understand research better when we're done with this. So I'll let you get back to your studying, and feel free to set an appointment with me, and we'll get through this. Thank you.